What up, fight fans? It's Lee coming at you with episode 31 of the MMA Breakdown. I'm here with my co host, Igor. Say hi to the people, Igor.
What's up, guys?
So, today we have a very special episode. We received a lot of feedback, a lot of comments on our previous posts asking for this. So, today we are going to be doing a deep dive on Michael Chandler's MMA career thus far. We're going to be doing a bit of in depth analysis ahead of his April 12th showdown with Paddy Pimblett at UFC 314. You guys don't want to miss it. Stay tuned.
Good chow.
All right, to start off, guys, we just have to address the elephant in the room. The name that everyone thinks of when they hear Michael Chandler, it's Conor McGregor. And to be
Boo.
frank, guys, even though Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler never stepped foot in the octagon together, the way Michael Chandler punked Conor like a schoolyard bully is one of the most impressive feats in UFC history. Personally, I'm speaking for myself. I count that as a win on Michael Chandler's official fight record, purely because of how he psychologically terrorized Conor. Really, Conor would probably still be active in the UFC to this day if the boogeyman Michael Chandler wasn't here to sun him. How do you feel about that, Igor?
I think you're right. Connor got bitched.
Couldn't agree more. Yep. And honestly, Conor gave him the runaround for so long. I mean, it was 5+ years. Call me crazy, but if Conor doesn't play hide and seek with Michael Chandler for half a decade, listen, he just might be a triple champion, the first triple champion in UFC history. Yep, you heard me right. Lightweight, welterweight, middleweight. Who
Triple?
beats Michael Chandler? Triple. I didn't stutter. Did I stutter? Who beats Michael Chandler? Nobody.
Triple champ.
Genuinely, the thing that I respect the most about Michael Chandler, and this is why he's one of my favorite fighters ever, and what I believe helps elevate Michael Chandler into the greatest fighter of all time conversation, is after all this time, he's still trying to get the fight made with Conor. He knows he has unfinished business with McGregor. And
Mm.
even though he's triple the fighter Conor ever will be, it just shows how much of a dog he is, how much he cares about the fans, how alpha Michael Chandler is to still follow through on his promise to put an ass whooping down on Conor McGregor.
You're right, dude. And then you got Connor on the other hand, trying to book fights with KSI. He's becoming a YouTuber now, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, he finally knows his lane. He finally understands where he stands in the hierarchy compared to Michael Chandler. I mean, he's his son, stepson. Doesn't even have the right to be blood related.
And we were talking, despite him having like a good amount of experience, I think it's safe to say like he can still be treated as a contender.
Yep, yep. Hey, I'm right there with you, Igor. Listen, I totally agree. I believe, and I've held this belief for a long time. Michael Chandler is one of the best young guns, one of the best up and comers in the UFC. Listen, Chandler has a long way to go before he reaches his prime. There's so much to improve in his game. Michael Chandler's a young 38, right? And I am very much so looking forward to how he evolves his game in the future.
No, you're right, and I mean, there's a reason why Dana is trying to clearly shut him down by feeding him only the hardest of the lightweight division. I think he knows that Michael Chandler is a problem, so he really wants to shut him down early in his career before he takes over the rest of the divisions.
That's a good point. Yeah, and everyone knows Dana is the UFC. Dana has such a great eye for talent that he knows greatness when he sees it. He knows what Michael Chandler is, and that is a dog, right? But he's got all these marshmallow cream puff champions that he's pushed, and he knows Mike would walk right through these mother suckers, right?
You're right.
No problem. And it's a threat to the business of the UFC to give Chandler these matchups. That's why he's only fought the toughest, pardon my words, sons of bitches in his division. He's had the toughest run in the UFC out of any fighter in UFC history, and I will stand on that. It is incredibly impressive what he's done with the opponents that he's had to face, and nothing but respect for him.
You're right. And it's not just the competition he had, but it's how he handled and got through the competition, right? Like that's something we need to talk about.
Hey, I agree. That's a good point, and that's a great segue into our next little segment. We're just going to do a quick little rapid fire rundown of all four of Michael Chandler's losses in the UFC thus far. Losses are in quotation marks because, as you'll see in a second, some of these kind of sketchy, kind of shoddy results, in my opinion. So, first one on the record, Chandler Gaethje. Guys, there's no two ways about this. Michael Chandler has been the most slandered UFC athlete ever. These false narratives and fake news around Michael Chandler sway these clueless judges who have never stepped foot in an octagon before in their life. Absolutely disgusting, terrible, putrid decision. I would not be surprised if that decision was influenced by the higher ups in the UFC to sabotage Michael Chandler's career because they knew how much of a threat he posed to the division at that time.
True.
All right, good feedback. Chandler Oliveira won. Here we go again. This was just about as cut and dry as it gets. Early stoppage, absolutely early stoppage. Just because, and anyone who's ever trained before knows this. Anyone who's ever sparred before knows this. Anyone who's ever blinked their eyes before knows this. Just because someone looks knocked out doesn't mean they're knocked out.
I agree with you. No, they saw like, what most people would think is a knockout, eyes back of the head, and they called it. But they're just amateurs. They're casuals. They clearly have never been knocked out, and they made a bad decision.
And Michael Chandler has that dog. He has that fire in his belly to get up, to pull a Tyson Fury. We all know what happened, the infamous moment. Michael Chandler is capable of greatness, and the referee should have allowed him to be great inside that octagon on that night.
Yep.
Moving on, Chandler Poirier. Don't even get me started. Not even worth my freaking time. It's... I just get so mad when I think about this fight. I'm not even going to talk about it. Chandler Oliveira 2. Let's just move on fast before I... Listen, Chandler Oliveira 2, the body slams won Michael Chandler that fight on aura alone. Even if you don't want to talk about how he was absolutely dog walking that little pup Oliveira the entire fight, those body slams are infamous. They're iconic. No one will ever top that. Absolute GOAT behavior from my GOAT, Michael Chandler.
He made him look like a little kid trying to get on his father's
Yeah,
shoulders
piggyback
to
ride,
get a
little
better look.
piggyback ride. That's not a submission, Oliveira. What are you doing? Guys, listen. To wrap things up, I mean, we went through his four quote unquote losses, his official losses. Michael Chandler could and should be 5-0 in his UFC career. And if you look at the overall strength of his competition alongside his peers, it puts him alongside fellow goats of the sport easily. Mount Rushmore of the UFC, probably Michael Chandler, Jorge Masvidal, Ronda Rousey, Leon Edwards, right? Those are probably the four greatest fighters to grace the octagon. And listen, in his upcoming fight against Paddy Pimblett at UFC 314 on April 12th of this year, Michael Chandler has the chance to separate himself with a sizable gap between 1 and 2.
Yeah, he's
He
gonna
could be
catapult
by
himself forward.
far in a way, yes. He could catapult himself so far ahead of the second best UFC fighter of all time that they won't even be able to I don't know.
It's an instant title shot, no questions asked. In lightweight, welterweight.
Honestly, I wouldn't even make him fight the champ. I would just give him the belt, strip the champ. That's how I feel. If I was Kamish, which I should be. So yeah, guys, like, comment, and subscribe. See you tomorrow for our daily uploads.
Let us know what
And
you guys
see.
think.